I want to speak about this now with the former senior official at the FBI. Joshua School joins us on the breaking news, along with Richard Kolkos, a former FBI special agent himself. Richard, you want to take this first on the news, the newest news, so to speak, which is, to Brian's point, nobody had been cleared. Every time officials were asked, they said, no, we're not clearing officially anybody. But now the sheriff takes the time to put out a statement and says that all members of the family are in the clear. What do you make of it?
I think that's a good thing for the family. Josh and I both know you take exclusionary prints at crime scenes, which is simply to take people out of the crime. And that sounds like what they've done here in a much larger way. They certainly have done the interviews. They would have tracked their phones. They would have gone through their social media. They would have done all those things to see if there was anything that made these family members potentially some way part of this event. And now he's able to say that they're not. And what that does is the FBI and the deputies there at the sheriff's office will have numerous theories that they're going to track down, numerous lines of investigation. The good news now is they can shut this one down and concentrate more effort on some of the other areas.
It comes, a day after Savannah Guthrie herself put another post up on Instagram. For those that didn't see that, I mean, it was emotional again, but here's part of what Savannah said.
We believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
It's never too late to do the right thing, Josh, was her point, and now she and her brother and sister and other members of the family are not considered suspects. They're cleared. Does that tell you that authorities do know more as we wait for some of these DNA results to come back?
Well, Connell, I think we always have to assume that the authorities are going to know more than the public. At least we would hope so. The authorities seem to be sharing that information for which they need the public's help. So I see Savannah's message as a continued attempt to engage with the abductors or associates, probably more importantly, the abductors, for people to continue to bring tips to law enforcement. Anybody that sees something tells law enforcement, any associates really pleading, as you can see from the video, this is clearly very strenuous for her and her family. And then the sheriff going out because undoubtedly there's an immense scrutiny on the family. You had 3 searches done at the sister's residence. So there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking and making suspicions about the family. So that's part of probably why he went out with a statement like this.
Yeah, it was almost on a daily basis. We'd have video, or Brian would pick something up over at Annie Guthrie's house, and there'd be somebody going in, and then that led to, a lot of speculation with the authorities there about whether they were involved. Now, says the sheriff, they are not involved. That brings us, Richard, to these questions about this glove and DNA matches that we're still waiting on. My colleague Marnie Hughes, who's anchoring our coverage from there, will join us again next hour. Actually went to the area where the glove was found, and I want to play part of that before we talk about what may come out of all of this. Here's what Marnie found.
This is a general area. We don't have the exact spot where the glove was found, but one thing I wanted to point out is just how much garbage there is back here. During the day, this road is pretty busy, so there are lots of cars going by. I'd be curious to see what it looks like at 2, 3 in the morning. Other than a house right over here where we're parked, there are no houses over here at all. So this is totally open, kind of an interesting place if in fact the glove belonged to the guy.
To Marnie's point, Richard, this is an area where there's a lot of, you see a lot of garbage, see a lot of other things there. So could it be related? Yes. Obviously, the hope is that there's some sort of a match that's reported back, but, you never know, I guess, until you find out. What do you make of all this business about the glove, Richard?
Well, I appreciate exactly how you put it. DNA sample, and it is not nirvana. It's not necessarily going to solve the crime if it does come to a match and they do find it belongs to somebody. Important that the FBI tracks this down, again, possibly excluding somebody, possibly putting somebody in place. We know that there was DNA found in the house, but lots of people come and go through that house, whether it's the plumber, the painter, somebody cleaning the pool. So everybody's house has DNA that's not matchable in it. But they're going to take that glove, they're going to run the sample. The rapid DNA can give you an answer fairly quickly if it's a match within that limited database. But after that, the FBI will run it against CODIS, against a larger database. Then they'll start going into commercial databases, those ones where people do family genealogy. Sometimes you need a warrant for those, so that can take a while as well. But they're going to put this at the front of the line because of exigent circumstances, because there is a life at risk. So hopefully they can do it fairly quickly. But the whole thing is, we have to think of this investigation investigation as a puzzle. Everybody's going out and bought that 500-piece jigsaw puzzle. You try and put it together. You can't do that quickly. You look at all the different pieces. One of them is DNA, one of them is video, one of them is interviews, evidence, all the other things that are there. And the detectives and agents are trying to put that puzzle together. Hopefully they'll get that important critical piece in the center. It helps
Right.
fill, but it takes a while.
I was always thinking with that analogy, as Richard was speaking, Josh, is that you get the feeling, or maybe it's more of a hope than a feeling, that that larger piece that connects the others might be coming sooner rather than later, finally, after more than 2 weeks. And I think that's why people are so intent on this DNA testing coming back. But to Richard's other point, you got to be in the system, right? This code, you got to be either arrested. You don't have to necessarily be convicted of a crime, but you got to at least be in that system, whether you're arrested or suspected of a crime, right, Josh?
That's exactly right. And as Richard also said, it's a piece to the puzzle, provided you don't get a match. If you get a match, that's great. That's obviously huge lead value. What shocks me is the expansive search area they've gone through. This is a good distance from the house, and why were investigators out there? It's not really clear. But the building blocks is what's coming and what we've been looking at. We know we have a backpack identified, and they're running that down. We know we have a code identified. The FBI lab has an incredible catalog and undoubtedly has matched the type of glove that was used by the perpetrator. So they're looking for that type of glove. So the DNA fits in there. It's also what we don't know is the other evidence that was collected around that, if that was preserved, tire track, footprint, any of that. Doesn't appear that that's happened, but those are key elements to what was going into solving this crime.
So the developments again at this hour, I think the big thing, the newest thing, is that the family's been cleared. We know that. The second thing everybody is wondering about is the DNA, which we've already spoken about. The other thing I'll bring up, Richard, and I said this last hour, is that there seems to be so much skepticism when you do bring it up. But again, you can't ignore, I suppose, anything. TMZ's in the middle of this again with a fourth email, okay? And this was one that demands money, come forward and tell us how. And I'll just read a quote from the TMZ headline here that the email had the same Bitcoin account as the other three. And in part it says, quote, "I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border. I was told to shut up, so I know who he is. And there was definitely Nancy with them." I don't know. How much stock do you think investigators, Richard, are putting in something like this?
I think this is basically what I call digital swatting. What happens is this person saw the Savannah Instagram message last night and pulling on the heartstrings, sent that message early this morning, trying to get money, not doing the right thing if they did have that information. The Bitcoin address has been out in public, so it's not hard for them to find, to make sure they use the same address. But the law enforcement will have to spend time trying to track down who is doing this. We know they've made at least one arrest out in LA on a different version of this.
Right.
Shouldn't be doing this, but and I know it's probably hard for the family to see this, but
No, I'm sure it is.
I don't think it's real.
Yeah, all right. That's what a lot of people seem to think, Josh. Do you agree? And you think we should be focused on some of the other things we've talked about? What's your big focus?
So I think it's hard to focus on one thing, Connell. I think that they have to, as Richard said, they're going to have to run this down and figure out who's sending this. I find it implausible that Nancy at this point would be seen any place in public, frankly. But they have to go down all the other theories. And really, I think we hear this time and time again. What was the reason for the crime? I find it not credible that this would have been a burglary for all the reasons we talked about last week and the week before, a full backpack. And why would you bring somebody away from the scene that really didn't need to be taken away from the scene? It just it brings upon risk. So then you're really looking at the theories. So you're running down all the evidentiary. You're continuing to do interviews. Thousands of leads have come in, and now you have the DNA profile.
Let me thank Josh and Richard again.